Start by removing the cartridge with an 18mm socket wrench. Note that the cartridge on the right pedal is left-hand threaded and you will turn clockwise to loosen. Insert an 8mm hex wrench into the end of the axle and use a 5mm hex wrench to unscrew the axle nut. Note that the right axle uses a left-hand threaded axle nut and you will turn clockwise to remove it. You can now remove the bearings, the compression washer, and slide the axle out of the cartridge. Use a pick to carefully remove the lip seal from the cartridge. The bushing has a long lifespan and can often be left in the cartridge while the other parts are replaced. Inspect the bushing to see that it is still fully seated inside the cartridge and is flush with the inside face. If the bushing has crept out of its seat, use the bushing install tool to press it back in. Clean the pedal and cartridge inside and out thoroughly with a clean rag and some isopropyl alcohol. If the axle has excessive play in the bushing, or if the bushing appears to be damaged, it will need to be replaced. The necessary tools for replacing the bushing can be found at wolftoothcomponents.com. To remove the bushing, use a 7/16 tap. Screw the cartridge back into the pedal body. This will make it easier to hold the cartridge during the bushing removal. Hold the tap in a vise and screw the pedal body onto the tap. Continue turning until the tap has cut threads for 6 to 8 revolutions. Remove the bushing from the cartridge by pulling on the pedal body. Clean the pedal body and cartridge with isopropyl alcohol to remove any old grease, dirt, or debris. Slide the new bushing onto the bushing installation tool with the chamfered side at the tip of the tool. Firmly press the bushing into the cartridge with the chamfered end going in first. The bushing should come to a stop when the end is flush with the inside face of the cartridge. Before assembly, note that there are 4 left and right specific parts. The left axle has a groove around the lip closest to the pedal threads. The right axle does not. The left axle uses a smooth axle nut. The right axle uses a knurled axle nut. The left cartridge also has a groove located in the middle section. The right cartridge does not. The left and right pedal bodies can be identified by the L and R engraved in the corner. Brush a light coat of grease into the seal gland and insert the lip seal into the cartridge with the lip facing out. Press around the seal until it is fully seated and looks circular. Apply a generous coating of grease to the inside of the cartridge, on the bushing, and the inside of the seal. Brush a coating of grease onto the axle as well and slide the axle into the cartridge. Then place the compression washer over the axle with the small diameter end facing the cartridge. It will nest into the end of the cartridge. Then slide the 3 bearings onto the end of the axle. Next, thread on the axle nut. Remember that the right pedal uses a knurled axle nut with left-hand threads, and you will turn counterclockwise to tighten. Insert an 8mm hex wrench into the end of the axle, and finish tightening the axle nut with a torque wrench. Apply a few drops of blue Loctite to the threads of the cartridge. Thread the cartridge back into the pedal body and finish tightening with a torque wrench in an 18mm socket. Finally, spin the axle by hand to make sure the pedal spins smoothly without any unusual resistance or binding. If the bushing was replaced, the axle may feel tighter than before. This is normal and it will feel smoother after your first ride.